It's fun.
I
So yeah, how
wonder.
do you find joy in that darkness?
In the darkness.
Why are you wandering around?
In
You
the
know?
void. Yes. This is one place I find joy and happiness is out in nature. Out
Yeah.
in the parks, away from all the other humans. I
Oh,
find
me.
joy with the humans too, though, you
Yeah.
know?
Leave humans alone, you know?
Yeah, right? The humans have been
Uh,
getting a lot of critique lately for good
yeah.
reason, I guess. But yeah, we were going to discuss joy and detachment.
Yeah. I mean, like,
And yeah,
what do you
what are
think
you gonna say?
those two topics goes together? Do you think they go together like joy and detachment? You know,
Yeah,
some people will associate detachment with like sadness because now you have to detach yourself from something, you know? Like,
yeah.
where do you find the joy connected to the detachment?
Right. So I find them very correlated, but you're right. Like, that's a good point about like the way that a lot of people look at detachment. And
Hmm.
I think is because you can be like, there's a detachment that comes from apathy, right? Which is
Hmm.
like kind of like disconnecting from everything emotionally and not really caring about anything. And, but the way that I see detachment is that not from that point, it's from a point of full activation, like you fully engage in something but you're detached from the outcome of it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So it's like even in like let's say you're playing a game, playing basketball or something, you can be fully in the game. You can even like try your best to win the game, but you're detached from the outcome to the extent that whether you win or lose, you're still not, emotionally attached to that. But you're still fully engaged in everything that you do, if that makes sense. And so the other detachment I think that comes from depression and sadness, it's like you're detached from everything.
Hmm.
So it's like if you were playing a basketball game, it's like you'd be the guy that's like not playing at all. Like you'd be,
Angry
just
that you
what.
can play. Oh.
Yeah, yeah, you'd be that guy that's like dragging his feet, like not wanting to be there.
Mm.
So I think that's the difference. And why I think that detachment and joy are very related is because a lot of times our joy gets robbed from being too attached to things.
Hmm.
Sometimes we can't even enjoy a movie, right? And you see this happen, especially with movies that like, when you hear like Marvel movies or like comic movies and people are like so upset that it didn't like stay true to a certain personality of the character or something, or they get upset that the story didn't match the actual comic books. And then it's like the movie could have still been a really good movie, but because they were attached to that, they couldn't even see it as a good movie. They hated it.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like that same notion, that a lot of times in life, if we become too attached to things, we don't even enjoy the process of it.
Yeah.
um, so it's like you could have let's say you were in a dancing team, right?
Hmm.
You had a lot of fun practicing dancing and going to the competitions, but because you were so attached to winning the tournament and then you don't win, now you view the whole year was a waste.
Hmm.
It was all just gone to waste, and you lose something that could have brought you a lot of joy is now like the object of your misery. So
Makes sense. I mean, it's just a state of mind again. Like on a like, let's say, would you say when someone is attached to a concept, for example, let's say like you're seeking like a better lifestyle or whatever, right? And now you're attached to an outcome because of the lifestyle that you have chosen. Would you say that's a detachment again that takes away the joy of the journey itself?
say that again. You said you're seeking a better lifestyle and what?
Let's say like if you're seeking, let's say like you're into juicing and you want to do a reset and this and that, and now
Right.
you're into liquids, and you just want to cleanse your body, right? You started that way, and then you attach to the idea of what it can do. So now you attach to an outcome or what this lifestyle can give you. So now, do you think some people can be too focused on the outcome of the path that it takes away the joy of the path?
Yeah, yeah. I think that happens a lot in like the fasting community, especially like the aspiring breatharian community,
Hmm.
because they
Hmm.
get so attached to the yeah, like the being super true to the path and whatever that vision is for them,
Hmm.
and wanting to get to a certain point, like being in a rush to get there, that yeah, becomes a stress instead of joy. And
Yeah.
so
But
yeah, I
then
think
the
that
outcome also physically, you can feel it, because sometimes I feel like when you find a way, if you're not so attached to the way, the path disappeared, it can also disappear. You go into another path, like accepting that it's all just, like phases of your life that you're going through things. I feel that way you find more joy, because of like when you feel like, if you do something too much of the same, there's no outcome,
mm-hmm,
it always have to be a change. Like change needs to come. You can't do the same thing and then expect like some change in you, or some, you know what I mean.
mm-hmm,
So in a way, like when you see the path as something that's ever changing, things change. Right now I'm aware to this, this is my awareness right now, I'm entertaining this, and then but I need to be open-minded to know that this is not it. I haven't found the answer, nobody have found the answer, right?
mm-hmm.
So then I'm open to, like, that this will change. I'm not attached to the way that I am today, because that
Yeah,
allows me to change. But if I just
yeah,
say like, okay, I find my way, I can just sit in lotus position and meditate. I can go to this place and just seek like people that are just like seeking the same thing. Now I'm trapped in a bubble, like a little cult again, where everybody is the same.
mm,
Does that make sense? But when I'm like open and I'm like accepting whatever changes in me, as long as I'm like, okay, this is the moment, and this is what I'm aware of right now. But it can change
mm-hmm.
tomorrow. I can't
Yeah,
hold on to an idea. Does that make sense?
mm-hmm. Yeah,
So.
I mean, I kind of like relate that to like being in the present moment, you know,
Mhm.
and responding to that, as opposed to like responding to dogma that we create
Hmm.
in our minds and certain
Exactly.
ideologies. Yeah. And then we get to that point where we, like you said, we almost seek people that are just like us so that way we can like it almost gives us like full permission to only believe in the beliefs that we have, and so we just look for the people that reaffirm those beliefs, and
Exactly.
not have any type of challenge in that way. Whereas like yeah, if you kind of just let if you could just experience different circles and just respond to it all, you have a lot more opportunity for growth.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I feel like we learn so much from each person. Like everyone that comes across your path, like there's a reason for it. So I feel like if we put ourselves in the boxes again, just running from a big box into like small boxes, it doesn't make sense to me. Like I don't even want to be in the box. But it's like, oh, this smaller box is better than that bigger box, and this box is better than that box. Like, this small box better than any box. So,
Yeah. Yeah, it's
so
funny because you use the concept of boxes a lot, and it took me a while to kind of realize like what exactly you meant by that. Like I understood it conceptually, right? But I never realized how much people really do that, because I never really also subscribed to boxes. I never cared for that stuff. I would never even really identify to too many boxes, like whether it was like when I was younger, maybe I did subscribe a little bit more to certain boxes, like, oh, I'm a boxer, I'm Puerto Rican, and all these things. You know what I mean? Like, but like now I gotten to a point where I don't even really identify with a lot of the things that I do, just because I don't like you said, it's kind of like I don't really, but it does. I do find that a lot of people, the way that they live through life, they they have a couple boxes they choose, and it's like they pick that, like, oh, I'm this and I'm that, and this is what describes me, and this is all that I am, and they fully subscribe to whatever box, whatever the mainstream thought is in that box, they fully subscribe to that. So it's
They
like
truly believe
if
in it.
they're,
Yeah.
yeah, so it's like if they're a gym bro, whatever gym bros believe in, like whatever that culture believes in, they fully subscribe to that, and that's what they like become. You know, like nobody. It's funny because it's rare to find people that could think between boxes, and that's why in a
Hmm.
way Bruce Lee was so popular when he came out as a martial artist, because he was the first one to be like, well, what about, how about we just learn from all of the boxes?
We have
So
to.
he, yeah, exactly. It doesn't, I mean, it
That's why
doesn't
I
make
say, like,
sense
when the
not
rabbit
to.
holes, it's the same thing. You
Right.
have to. Yeah. Go
Yeah.
ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Well, it's just that, before it was like you had to pick a box, a martial art. It was like a religion, and it was blasphemous to go learn from any other one, because this is the one true way and the best box, So just
Yeah.
get with it. And so he became the first quote unquote like mixed martial artist, which is
Mm.
what gave birth to MMA and a lot of like the fighting styles of today that are mixing them all together. But
Mm.
like that just makes complete sense to anybody that's not too attached. Again, we go to detachment, right? Like if
Hmm.
you're not attached to all of these things, then you can kind of like read between the lines. You can find the similarities between things. You can connect. You got like a wider intelligence that can grab from different things, as opposed to just being a rigid archetype of something, and then that's the only moves that you have, right? That's the only uh
Yeah. You're
yeah,
limited.
you're
You're
limited.
literally limited. But that's again the attachment will really limit you, because sometimes you can see someone like be like, oh hey, I do qigong every day. I've been doing it for 35 years. You don't see any joy, anything in it. He just faithful to the practice, but the
Yeah.
practice is not faithful to him. You know, it's you done it too much. It's not doing it anymore. It's like it's not even serving you anymore. But you are so faithful to the practice, and the practice is not even working for you. Like
Hmm.
the practice even got tired of you. So,
Yeah,
but
and you know what,
do you know what I
you
mean?
know,
Like people hold on
yeah,
to one box forever.
I do know what you mean, and one reason that I find for that too is that if you do, let's say, any practice, right? Even if it's a
Mhm.
really powerful practice, like you mentioned, Qigong or yoga, what I find is that those people that don't seem to get a lot of result out of it, like with their everyday life,
Mhm.
it's because they go into that box, that Qigong box and that yoga box, right? And then
Exactly.
they never take anything that they are cultivating in that box into the box of life. Like they
Exactly.
only so they go do qigong, and it's like
Yeah.
they go do yoga. That's the only time they have any sort of presence, any sort of like
Yeah.
cultivation, and then they don't take any of those learnings and bring it outside of that box into everywhere else. So in everywhere
Yeah.
else, it's almost like the practice hasn't even done anything for you, because you haven't opened that
You have been
box.
disconnected.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
disconnected. You are connected. You kind of like attached to the idea, but disconnected from it.
Hmm.
It's the weirdest thing, because it's like, okay, if you have been doing this practice forever, someone can come to you and be like, oh, I have been doing Reiki healing all this years and this, but they can't sit still and meditate,
Right,
right? It's like, in a way, you have to master that energy within yourself, but now you are just
right.
attached to the idea of healing others. Now it's like,
Yeah,
okay, you can heal others, you can correct other people's energy, but then you haven't even understood how to quiet your noises,
right.
So
And
it's
that's
like,
what I mean by like staying in that box, right? Where it's like
mhm,
if you were to take the gifts of that box and put it into the box of life,
mm,
into all the other boxes, so it could trickle into all the other boxes you got going on. It would be like, how can I take the concepts of Reiki and do it at work? do it with my family, do it when I'm pissed
Exactly.
off at my partner, let me do Reiki on myself and on them, you know, and then that's when it starts to like become more than like just the practice. Now the practice has
Exactly.
become a lifestyle, and that's when your life changes. But if until it becomes a lifestyle, it's just like you said, a practice that
You
that you
committed
know,
to.
yeah, it doesn't
It's like
it,
a pastor, for example. I don't want to speak on religion because people get sensitive about that. But when you see like any religion preacher, right? They speak with so much conviction, like they know they've been there. This is like this and that, and like how they believe in it because they subscribe to that idea. That's what they believe in. That's that box that they in. But now when you subscribe to this box is telling you to not touch that and not touch this. And if you do this, you're not part of the box. So you have to be within the box rules, right? So now you
hmm
can't outgrow that. It's like putting a shark like in a small little tank. It will never outgrow that.
yeah,
Does that make sense? Like it's like here,
yeah,
this is an idea, and that's exactly the idea is like that's how much you can grow. So
and
if
it's
you are
funny.
subscribed to that idea, that's what you are.
Right, and it's funny, isn't it? Because those boxes, you know, we we could go as far as like calling it like different cults and stuff like that, and people think cults are just like specific
Bad.
groups that brainwash you, but a cult is literally a culture. It's anything. Like your work is a cult, right? Religion's a cult. I mean, you know, any group that
Anything
has
is a cult.
certain beliefs and method out, you know, is a cult. And so like these boxes, right? Everyone that's in the box, they almost keep each other like
In the box.
suppressed. Yeah, exactly. They keep each other in the box. Like you're not allowed to think outside the box.
Yo, you're
Otherwise,
outside the box.
yeah,
You're like
otherwise
this.
you
Yeah.
get yeah, they
Or this small boxes are the opposite, okay? The bigger box, the reality box, when you're trying to get out of that, everybody will point fingers. They're like, "Oh, she's out of the box. She's out of the
right,
box." But when
right,
you get into these little boxes, when you get out of the little box, they'll be like, "Oh my gosh, she's going back to the big box." You know,
right,
it's like, "Hey, I'm leaving this box to find another box. I don't need to go to
yeah,
the bigger box." But there are other
right.
boxes than this little box. You know. So you need to step out of this little box, but the little box will also point finger and think like because of you looking for another box. It's funny, isn't it? But it's all rabbit hole. Every idea that we come across, there's nothing that's the answer, you know. But
Yeah,
there are ways that you can flow through life instead of like struggling through life. Like whether you're trapped and attached to an idea, or you're trapped in that, or you're just confused and just existing, or you're an intentional like being here who knows you're here and you how to move here,
right,
without
right,
becoming one with this reality or anything like that. You can be consciously like stepping over these little rabbit holes, stepping into this one, entertaining, but know how to get out of this thing. You can't
right.
stay too long in one concept because there is no answer. No answer. Everybody will come around. I find the answer. It must be this. There's no answer. So entertain this box, entertain that box, entertain this box, that box, that box. You have to just do it that way because in order for this whole thing, like we were talking about earlier, in order for this
Mm-hmm.
whole thing to shift, everybody have to wake because this reality is being created by our thoughts, and we have a collective thought that is just this picture. So a little box of people thinking that one way, like it's not like they have like a big flashlight, like, oh my god, this is the reality. Look at it here. No, you're just still in a box, still in another box. You will always wake up in another box, another box, another box. So you just imagine that reality is like that: a box, 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 box. That's exactly what it is. It's
Yeah.
like this box is better than that box. No.
Oh
Every
man.
day is not even promised. Imagine holding on to the same box every day.
Yeah.
You wake up, you get a new chance every day, like breathe, because life is only one day. Tomorrow is never promised. We just created these numbers and days and stuff. But you wake up every day to this reality, and you want to create the same one every day. You don't want to spice it up a little bit, try out a little bit. At least you woke up. You wake up tomorrow too. Just try it a little bit, figure it out. What do you
So
say to that?
how do you because I mean you had a pretty unique upbringing, right? The way that you grew up. And
Mm-hmm.
so I feel like that really helped you kind of detach from a lot of boxes. But I'm curious what you do even now, right? To kind of keep yourself from falling victim to these boxes, or another word for them is like rabbit holes, right? Which I find is kind of
Yeah.
interesting that the Matrix had the white rabbit tattoo. You know, like one of the things that Neo was first going after was he was following the white rabbit. And it's
Mm.
like, you know, you could think about the rabbit representing rabbit holes, you know, and the
Mm-hmm.
Matrix is full of all these rabbit holes that you could get go down and get stuck in. So how do you navigate and make sure you don't, like, you know, how do you stay detached from all the rabbit holes, going back to the detachment? Yeah.
You know, it's scary to be detached. You scare yourself really to be detached. It's like I'm not detached to a point where, I'm detached from things. Really, like I have, like I'm attached to this reality as it can be. I'm part of it, right?
Mm.
But I think what helped me to not have expectations, you know, or like realize, like, I think I felt, how can I put this together? As a kid, I felt whatever people feel in adult age, I felt it as a kid. Like that I was just here by myself. I used to feel that, like from age 9, I used to feel like, oh damn, it's just me here. Literally, it's just me here.
Hmm.
And truly, when you think about it, it's just you here. Everybody that I met was an experience, and every experience was changing all the time, right? So for me to, and then I was experiencing everybody, and I learned how to observe very, very, very early, because it was detached my, I mean, like, it was my safety. I couldn't just like fall asleep, or like I didn't have a parent that would just look after me or anything like that. I was in the places where I have to watch myself. So I used to always observe people. I'll be in the places where no kids no be, right? And
Mm.
then I would have to observe them. So observing people, I realized that everybody is really like the way they think. This person is attached to this belief, and that all of them are saying like it's one God and be this and be that, but then they have like this stupid differentiation like about what I didn't understand it. So early age I started to think that way, and then I realized there's nothing that's real. Literally nothing is real. So knowing nothing is real and you part of it, what do? You live consciously, like knowing that, okay, hey, this is just another phase. I have been through so many phases in life that I know it's just a phase. But I can't
Mm.
be attached to this phase and say like, okay, this is it. Because I have seen so many changing faces. I have seen so many people with so many different ideas and different ideologies and different things. And I'm like, what is one truth? There is no one. Everybody's just seeking one thing, but they don't even know what that is. It's a confusion. So then
Mm.
I realized there is nothing. What is it to hold on to? You know, it's all experience. That's all
Mm.
it is.
You know, and I think on that subject too is like, I think the what you're saying, like the not holding on to anything, is kind of part of the detachment, right? Like that's the
Hmm.
power of detachment, is that you're not holding on to anything. You know, I saw a meme the other day that's like saying, it said connected to everything but attached to nothing, you know? And that
Exactly.
goes back again to like fully experiencing life. Like, you know, we're not talking about detaching in a way that you don't care about anything. You still care about everything in a
Hmm.
way. You can even care more about everything in a way, but in a detached way from it, you
That's
know,
what
like
I
we're,
do. That's what I feel like. That's
yeah.
what I'm saying. Like, I'm not like cold detached from things. I'm actually like, I'm aware.
Yeah.
Sometimes when people are like attached to something, it's because they're not aware.
Hmm.
Like,
Aware of
like
what exactly?
I mean, like, let's say like you are attached to a concept, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
not aware. You are not aware enough to know that no concept is, you know, worth being attached to.
Yeah, it's like you lose awareness to the rest. It's almost like
Exactly.
having tunnel vision to that. It's like the way I'm picturing is like, if you're in an area and you're only looking at the tree, you're only aware of the tree, right? Being the concept, then you're not
Hmm.
seeing the rest of the forest, right? You're only seeing that tree because you're stuck on that. You're attached to that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is
But
that
yeah,
same
I think
analogy of the cave, remember?
with the Plato's cave or
Hmm.
whatever that, yeah, and again, like I think the detachment part. So I think another way that it kind of really correlates with joy is that when you're not carrying anything, right, holding
You're
on to
naturally joyful.
anything, you have a natural sense of joy. Like our natural state is a state of joy, like how children are.
Exactly. You're
And
more
so
aware of the current moment, like, the present moment.
yeah,
You
because
capture
the
the
current
present
moment is
moment.
fucking awesome.
Right? That's the
it's,
best.
it's a really nice space. Like the only thing that fucks it up is like when we think about all the other problems and this and that and the worries, and so then we get out of the present moment. Again, we're getting back into the
Exactly.
realms of attachment. But when we just detach from all of that, you can really even just enjoy staring at a leaf could bring you a lot of joy and appreciation and all of these
Yeah.
things. And so that's one of the great things about like fasting, since we are doing we're bringing back the next great reset in July 17th through the 20th, right? I believe are the
Yes.
dates. And so we're going to do this will be a 3-day, last time we did a coconut water fast, but we want to do a true fast this time. Coconut water still has, some calories and it's got some sugar in it, so it doesn't like provide a pure fasted state. So this time we're going with a pure fasted state, just pure water. And we're flying in Elatam Elamine from Africa once again, who's been a breatharian for many years, living on prana. And so one of the great things that I find that fasting has done for me is that it's taught me how to detach, right? Because when you it's like there's this motivational speaker that talks about he says this story like about perspective where this guy basically uh a teacher's trying to teach him the importance of like wanting something so bad
Yeah.
that you go for it, right?
Hmm.
And so he dipped the guy in the water and held him down underwater, and he held him down for a while, and the guy's like, just like freaking like wrestling around trying to breathe, and he brings him back up finally, and he's like, so what did you think about, while you were down there? And he's like, I just wanted to breathe, and he's like, well, when you want something so bad that's all you think about, like how you did when you were underwater, all you thought about was how bad you want to breathe, then you'll get it. And so in a sense, when you fast, right,
Hmm.
it kind of narrows down a lot of the things it narrows down our thoughts to one thing. Like now you're just kind of thinking about the sense that there's no food, and it kind of like puts you into a more grounded perspective in life, because now you're just sitting with that emotion of hunger or whatever that may be, and
Hmm.
it just resets all the senses, because now you're no longer attaching to food, you're no longer attaching to a lot of the programs that comes with food. Like food is consumption, right?
Yeah.
And when we consume, it's not just food. We generally, when we're consuming food, we're also consuming a bunch of other things. It puts it into consuming mind state. So we're more on social media, consuming TV, consuming
I consume more of that
other.
than food.
Yeah. So we're just consuming, and consuming. This finally puts us in a state where we can become creative. We're not,
Hmm.
instead of consumption mode, we go into a creative mode, and we have more energy because our body's not digesting, right? So
Hmm.
it just it resets the nervous system and puts us into that natural state of joy. And it's just doing it in nature like we did, we camped out in nature, that
Hmm.
already resets the nervous system, makes you more
Absolutely.
joyful.
I
and then
can
doing
see
it in
fasting going
community.
on actually other places than just in nature. It's just the perfect place.
It is.
You know, you're
And
getting
then doing
nourished.
it together in community,
Hmm.
like community is already
Hmm.
another thing that brings us joy and oxytocin. All these studies are coming out that when we hug each other for more than 10 seconds, oxytocin goes out of control. So like imagine like that's just studying like hug and close proximity. But I guarantee you, even being in community with 30 people, all with the same intention, hugging or not, oxytocin is shooting through the roof. I'd be willing to bet. You know, we'd have to test it one of these days.
Yeah, and
but
actually, I can see that really. And then
yeah,
you know, this whole system is resetted. You know, like usually whatever you eat or whatever you put in, like in form of information, is what alters your reality usually. But when we're in that
mm,
space, you can see the frequency change within the first day.
right.
When people wake up next day, you can just feel the whole atmosphere change into
Mm,
this little like it's kind of like it gets quiet
yes,
somehow. Like you find like some
yes,
peace in the air, and it's like it's the same kind of frequency because of it's like the system is resting, so you can feel the
right.
rest in the air. Do you know what I mean? I'm not talking
Yes.
crazy.
Yes.
You can
No.
feel
That's
it, right?
these people have to feel it. And like I know I know exactly what you're talking about, and I know that
Mm.
everyone that went to the last retreat knows exactly what you're talking about. But for
It's
those
like
that don't
rest.
know, you just gotta experience it, and
Mm.
you'll know when you're in it. But it's
It's
definitely
a
this.
definite experience. You know,
Yeah.
like you said, like there were some people that didn't even plan this and they just came in, and then when they did the first day, they kind of blended in a little bit. You know,
Right.
the energy just merged with everybody else. But what I'm saying is like when your system, like we came here natural, right? And then whatever that we put into our body, like this is a container. It's not like something that you put in evaporates, it just goes away. It doesn't do that. Like it's a system that is a container, right? So when you put in some meals, if it's not eliminated in the right way, because of like, I think the problem with the human body is more like the frequency. No, no, I mean like the frequent eating. You know, back in
Right.
like
Right.
many 100 years ago, what people used to do
Yeah.
is like, you know, they maybe skip 2 3 days even eating. You know,
Right.
maybe they have a little drink here, a little bite here, a little snack here, right? But now
Right.
people want to fill their system 3 4 5 times a day,
Right.
eliminating it one time and thinking magically all the other 3 meals or whatever snack you had in between would just evaporate, poof, like us disappear into your
Mm-hmm.
system magically. It doesn't happen like that. It's stuck somewhere, it's in somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And the more the system is clogged, the more our consciousness is also like
Mm.
decreased. You're not like
Yeah. It's clogged.
aware of everything. It's clogged up.
It gets
So your
clogged too.
vision,
Yep.
it's not your eye vision, but your true vision will be like decreasing, you know, little by little. So you can see clearly, like you can discern things. You will hold, like that's why a lot of people like attach to ideas because they don't have a vision on their own. So they want to have somebody who have already paved the path for them. Like, okay, hey, if I'm gonna tell you like after you die, this is what you're gonna get and this is what's gonna happen. You already made a plan for me, so now I can feel a little ease, you know, like okay, I can go to heaven if I do this. If I talk to my neighbor like this, I can do this, you know? Like, no, you have some idea, but you're actually so clogged up that you can't even see the reality as it is, you know? Like, you can't
Right.
see yourself, you can't feel yourself. So, when we get into this reset system, it's like you are eliminating information that was clogged up in your system that was blurring your vision. So
Mm.
once all of that is kind of like, you know, create space for yourself to see, now you become more light. Now you want to like, you can see more, like you
Yeah.
accept yourself more. You want to feel more, you know, you even smell better. It's like,
Everything gets refreshed. Yeah.
exactly, because your system is reset. But then
Yeah.
again, people go back into the eating again. Like, or let's say this, like if you would stuffing yourself for like 30 years, you can't expect like a 21-day juice fast to just fix all of that problem. It's an endless detox kind of until your system is reset to a point where it's like you're more like cleaner. But then again, we still put in something, so it needs to be clean. It needs to be clean.
Right.
So
We
resetting
keep
yourself,
dirtying. We keep dirtying the system.
it's not even
Um.
dirty at that point. It's more like, okay, hey, now something comes in, but you know what it is and you eliminate it, right?
Hmm.
You wait for it to actually go into your body and eliminate it before you put something else in it again.
Right.
So we don't wait for those things. It's like stuck in between there, there, there. People do that, so then eat here, eat there, eat there, eat there. Now you're just full of a lot of things.
Right,
So
right. Yeah, and
I
it
think that human reset.
overstimulates. I find that, like we're always overstimulating the system, right? And
Absolutely.
and we're overstimulating the system with food, and then there's TV and social media. There's all these other forms of
Bing, bing, bing,
overstimulation.
bing, bing, like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. But see, even just sticking to the food, then it's easy to see how we become numb, right, to things,
Mm-hmm.
and no longer the simple things no longer bring joy and happiness because we're overstimulated. We need even more stimulation now. It's how
Yeah.
they say porn hinders our sexual lives because then now porn
You
has
get
all this.
desensitized
You
to
become
everything.
desensitized, exactly. And so
Desensitized.
so
I can't even
food.
say it, but yeah,
Yeah,
you know what I
food,
mean.
food, exactly. So food desensitizes us to life in a way. It numbs us, and so with the
I know
fasting,
exactly that it does that. Trust and believe. Even you can just take it like as an example of your tongue, your taste buds.
right?
Simplest thing. Like let's say like someone who eats sugar, a lot of fried food, a lot of those taste buds are dead. When you fast, like when you burn yourself like and something hot and then you can't taste anything anymore because of like
Hmm.
your tongue is burned because of your taste buds what got burned. So now you can't
Yeah,
taste it, right?
right.
So when you constantly burn your taste buds with salt, sugar, salt, salt, sugar, salt, sugar, salt, sugar, now they don't have any feeling anymore. It's like a numb. So now you want
Right,
to have more to feel it.
right.
So you would add more salt to feel it. You would add more
Yeah,
instead of like building your taste buds back again by giving a
right,
rest you
right.
know so it's like grass, it grows back again.
Mm-hmm.
So we don't give any chance for the taste buds to rebuild itself, but that's what the system needs. Also every cells needs to rebuild itself, because if we
Yeah.
keep the cells busy all the time and the system busy all the time, now it's calibrated, calculating all the time. Even when people are
Mm.
sleeping, they wake up 3 a.m., they go to the fridge, eat something, now their system is like boom, 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 again.
The parasites are real.
Literally, like 2 a.m., people will wake up
Yeah,
and go straight to the fridge. The parasites are real, definitely. But
yeah.
imagine the parasites ruling your world by telling you what to put in, when to put in all the time. And then whatever you put in is altering your reality. Like whatever you see on the outside is exactly the same image of what you are in the inside.
Mm.
It's
As
funny.
within, so without. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And when you feel, that's what I've noticed for me with my consumption is that the lighter my consumption is, the lighter I feel in general, physically,
And
mentally,
joyful.
spiritually, joyfully. Yep, all of that. So,
That's why people
with
feel joyful, because that's our natural state. And
yes, and
when the cells are resetted, the system is reset and all of that. Now you go back to your natural state, which is joy, a
mm,
joyful state.
yeah,
Literally.
one of my favorite things, about the last Great Reset, was on the third day when we did the ecstatic dancing around the fire, and everybody was dancing. This it's the third day, so everybody had already reset their nervous system.
Hmm.
Everyone's feeling pretty calm and peaceful, and then it's like there's no inhibitions at that point. Nobody's like afraid. Everyone was just feeling themselves and really
Hmm.
expressing themselves like however they wanted. And the people were
Hmm.
so free, and the energy was just coming out, and yeah, just expressing itself authentically, and it was just a beautiful thing to witness.
I
And
love
I
that.
find that, yeah, I find that like when we fast, we reach levels of true sobriety.
We
Um,
do. That's the true sobriety. That's what
the
I would always
truest,
call it, because I used to drink and stuff like that, and I'm like, oh
right?
my God, I feel like the true sobriety also feels like you kind of like intoxicated in
Yep.
a way that what the kind of illusion alcohol and weed and everything give you, that you like joyful, that little moment and stuff like that. That's
Hmm.
the real like feeling that we really have, and that's what we seek in these substances,
Yeah.
instead of like
Yeah.
bringing it out. So we
Right.
seek it in like substances and different things like material.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll say that since I've been in this fasting journey, and I've gone to some of these like music festivals where people are on sorts of drugs and mollies and ecstasy and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. And I'll just be out there fasted, mostly dry fasted, and I'll just have like some liquids. And I'm out there more blissed out than they are. I have
Usually
more
happens.
energy than them, and I am like just like freaking just like I don't even know what word to describe the kind of like ecstasy that I'm feeling out there. And I'm sober, just from being from having like an empty clean vessel where the electricity is firing off like it's supposed to, and the spirit is just it's just fully animated. Because I think
Mm-hmm.
at the end of the day, it's like the spirit in its full animation is already joyful and happy.
It
Like if you
is.
imagine the body without its restrictions, we'd be moving like cartoons out here. The cartoons just move in a very fluid and happy state.
Mm-hmm.
The existence itself is very joyful by nature, right? If you could feel all your cells moving around and vibrating, like
Mm-hmm.
that is a joyful feeling.
It really
And
is. And when you can
yeah.
just like randomly move and you're not attached to a moment, you're not attached to like,
Mm,
outcomes and stuff like that, it really makes it easier for you because now you acceptance of everything, you know?
right.
Like the good comes, the bad comes, everything has its purpose. So just being like I think the fastest state will get you there.
Yeah.
Fastest.
Yeah. Sometimes I say living life on the fast lane.
Yeah, it literally takes you there faster, because I can see if I think about like finding joy in any substances right now, I feel like I crash out. It
Hmm.
literally just crashed me out. Like let's say
Because
like if I had
it's
alcohol right
borrowing.
now, it would crash me totally.
It's
Huh?
borrowing from the future is what I noticed, right? So like
Yeah,
all these substances that make you
yeah,
super happy right now, it's like borrowing the happiness from later, and that's why you get super depressed when it comes down. So
exactly.
same thing with alcohol, right? Alcohol like relaxes you in the moment, but
But
then
it messed me up
usually what
next day.
exactly, and you're hungover and now you're like anxious and you have all this stuff
Yeah,
like it took it away, from the future. So it's
yeah, I hate
interesting.
that. I
It's
hate that. But that's
interesting.
why you when you live in the moment. And I feel, like have you noticed every time you stuff yourself, it's like it kind of takes you away from the moment?
Yeah.
You know that, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
depending on what you eat, like if something's
Definitely. I
salty,
get
I'm like
drunk.
out of here.
I
Like
get drunk when I eat like cooked food now. And like especially when I eat a lot of it, I literally start slurring when I speak. And like I sound drunk and I get obnoxious too. Like I get annoying.
yeah,
Like my
yeah,
brother's noticed that he's like, man, yeah, you get obnoxious when when you eat. And so it's a funny thing that
it is a real
occurs
thing,
there.
really. It's like how you make you feel. And when I'm in like in a fasted state, I think what makes fasting, I think we can go a very long time at the times.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, like as long as you live in a reality that kind of like takes away from you, you kind of need to put something in. But depending on your reality, right?
Right.
I think we can go a long, days of nothing really, like, maybe like taking a little bit of fruit here, a little bit here, nothing fixed at all for long
Mm-hmm.
periods. And then a short little periods, you can have like something that you can consume or whatever. But
Right.
I think constant consumption, it's not a human way. I
No.
really do not believe so. Like imagine like constantly stuffing yourself. It just
Mm-hmm.
doesn't even make sense to me.
You live a pretty stuffy life.
But yeah, we do. Like stuffing yourself, meaning it just means really that your reality is, written for you. Like you don't see anything. You can't even. It's like you're not streaming your own reality somehow. It's like a
Mm.
written script. You're not the writer.
Yeah.
It's a written script for you. Does that make sense? It's like, okay, now I'm just gonna live this life because everything's supposed to be like this. We're supposed to obey this. We're supposed to do that because if you don't do that, Daniel, this is what's gonna happen because it's guaranteed. Like, imagine for you to just believe in it when you don't even know tomorrow is real. You just believe in something. It- Yeah, I don't even know if this conversation is real. Imagine just believing this conversation is real.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's
yeah. This is a rabbit hole.
It's all rabbit holes, yeah. And I mean, they say call it Maya, the great illusion, and they say this whole thing. They say the Buddhists talked about like enlightenment is when you realize this whole thing is a dream and you wake up
They
from the
say that.
dream. Yeah, which is similar to the Matrix, and like the yogis, the ones who like woke up
Mhm.
to this reality fully. um, yeah, they notice that it's a dream and everybody's still kind of sleeping. Which
Exactly. So
which
I'm
you and
like,
I,
what kind of
we've
crazy
seen
then?
this. We already see this. Like we see zombies every day. And I think when you say about the food and stuffing yourself, it has a bit of food obviously has a very sedative effect and it puts you like kind of sleepy, right? Like what do you normally do after you eat? You pop on the TV, you sit down, you lay down, and
People
so
think
you
differently.
yeah, and you're
That's
willing to just take whatever, however your life is, you're just like okay with it and you're just very docile.
Mhm.
Whereas, like, when you're fasting, you could be restful, but at the same time, you're willing to like seek out new opportunities. It's like your hunger for food gets transferred into hunger for other things, hunger of experience, hunger for connection, hunger for
Exactly.
presence, for creativity.
Mhm.
If you're a musician and you fast, you'll come up with a whole bunch of songs. If you're an artist, you'll be drawing. If you're a dancer, you'll be dancing. Like you
Mhm.
hunger for those more meaningful experiences. And I think part of my hypothesis is that like it's because you then feel your spirit more, and the spirit, for a lot of us, our spirit hungers, but we don't feed it because we don't see the signs like for the spirit. Like right
Exactly.
when your body's hungry, what does it do? It growls. Like it's very real. Your body's hungry. When your mind is
Mhm.
hungry, what happens? You get bored. You go turn on you watch a movie. You go play a puzzle or play a game. Like you feel it. It's very real. But when your spirit is hungry, it doesn't have those strong physical signs that everything else does. It's more subtle. You just haven't
Exactly.
realized that for the last 5 years, you haven't really been that excited about anything.
Hmm.
And that's because your spirit. So when you fast, I feel like finally you feel your spirit more and what it wants to do, and then you feed it. And so now your
Exactly.
spirit's getting fed. And it's funny is that when your spirit gets fed, in a way, your mind and your body get fed too, right? Like when you're doing something really meaningful, you may even forget to eat for days. You just
Hmm.
forget.
Hmm.
You don't even
Because you're
realize.
only seeking for purpose, right? like like as a human beings. And Alexi, thank you. Someone said happy Mother's Day. um so just imagine like, I forgot my thought. The thought just dropped. It was like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I was thinking about what was the last thing you said?
Oh man, that was so much time ago. We're living in the present. We forget what we say five
I
seconds
know it
ago.
wasn't. It was, the person was right there. I was like,
Yeah,
on the time.
yeah. Let's see.
No, but it was something I was gonna say. It just dropped. What
Yeah,
was it? Let me
it
pick it
dropped
up.
into one of the rabbit holes. Yeah, just pick
I
it
know.
back
Let me
up.
pick it up. What was it?
Yeah, let me shoot it back out to you from the rabbit hole. Pew, pew, pew. So yeah, um,
Bring me up again.
we were talking about feeding the spirit. So and how that when we fast, we finally get to feel the spirit,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's what it was.
mm-hmm,
So
yeah,
basically, when someone is like trapped in a rabbit hole, right? And someone is following like a concept, right?
right,
They don't have a purpose on their own. That hunger for purpose, they shut it with everything else, with small other things.
yeah, right, right,
So it's
right.
like it's all shut, and now you have a plan of like your purpose is you go to heaven. Or if you do, you
Mm-hmm.
go to hell. But it already given. Everybody's given a purpose. Like, okay, hey, you choose if you want to go to hell or heaven. But those are two options you have up there. When you leave here. So work towards that. So people are working towards heaven and hell. When you work in heaven and hell, when you're working towards that, now your spirit is not hungry for anything because it's already figured it out. like something figured it out. But those people are most confused ones. Have you noticed? They're the
Hmm.
most confused ones because of their belief is actually telling them to not even question, because you have a weight right now and this is where you're heading, so you can't even question the path, you can't question it. So the soul would never get fed because of the real
Yeah.
purpose it's looking for. It's like it's seeking it, but it's like something that's trapping you, telling you no, 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 no.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, you already have a path, you have to be faithful to this one, you know.
Right.
And now you're suppressed, so that soul doesn't have any kind of purpose. But when you fast and you start using your own mind, now you can pave the path, and now you will be hungry for purpose. So whatever you're doing to fill your to fill your soul, you know, now you feel fed. So why would you even go for food? Why would you go for stimulations? Because they have no place to fill. Now when you know where the
Hmm.
void was coming from, you know.
Mm.
So in a way it's just like the people are just hungry for purpose. They're literally starving. Now you got a little light.
Yeah, I try to find some, but I don't know if this is actually helping much.
It actually did. I can
Can you
see your
see?
face.
You can see it for real?
Yeah,
Because it
yeah, I
still
can
looks
see it for a
dark in
little
my
bit.
screen.
Where are you now? I could see it for a little bit. There,
This is like
there.
right here.
No, the other way.
I can't see it. Let me see.
There,
Like
right
that.
there. Perfect. Now we can see you. Now we can see you.
In loving memory of Beja, our puppy and loyal companion from 2011 to
Oh, that's the light you
2024.
went to.
Yeah, see, this dog still has a light in this world.
That's so
Look at that.
sweet.
Yeah, they made
That
like
is
a whole memorial thing for her. Even it's got a tree and everything.
And the moon is shining on it.
That dog was loved.
Oh, is that the moon or is that a light?
It's a light.
Oh, I was like, the moon cannot be that
It's
bright.
yeah, it's imitating the moon. What do
Mhm.
you know? Where is the moon? I'm trying to find the moon, but I don't see her anywhere. She's hiding tonight. She's shy tonight.
But yeah, it's the hunger for purpose, really. But when you fast, you kind of recognize, like, okay, hey, let me pave my own path. Let me do this. Let me do that. So you find joy in exploring yourself. You find joy in figuring out things because now you're not attached to one thing. You know, whatever you come across, just like we live our life. You know, whatever you come across is like, okay, it is what it is. You know. But it's
Mm-hmm.
not like it's gonna change my whole reality just because of it's a bad day, or it's like, oh, it's a good day. Like, no, like the attachment to money. Money is good, but I know it comes and goes. You know.
So, I know that you kind of grew up very different than most, but how would you recommend for somebody who maybe has a lot of attachments, right? And
Hmm.
they want to become more detached, but they just can't. They can't find a way. It's like, how can they practice becoming better at it?
Two things that I have for when it comes to detachment, in that sense, like of detaching yourself from like trauma. Let's say like there are certain parts where you actually are a victim. You're this, you're
Hmm.
that, or you into this, or you're into that. Like people are, they have so many detachments, so many attachments, you know, to
Right.
so many different things that creates their reality. So I have realized, you know, that the more you sit with yourself, the more you will get to know yourself. So meditation is the first medicine for everything. Like you
Mm.
can't even do anything without sitting with yourself consistently and coming back every day until you actually know yourself and there's no more attachment. So that's why I did like 444 days, because for me it was more like, you know, my attachment came more from, let's say like I would hurt myself in a stupid way, like attached in relationships, you know, because
Mm.
maybe I had like my young age, maybe I was seeking like the parts of me that was hurt was like kind of like matching with the others. So maybe I was expecting too much from another person or whatever,
Hmm.
and I would always disappoint myself, you know. So for me to even be attached to ideas and get hurt all the time, you know, I had to let
Yeah.
go of that. But then at the same time, it was more like, for me, it was more like the detachment part of it that I also had to like work with, because what are the things that I'm detached from and why, and what am I attached to and why, right? So every day
Hmm.
for 444 days I had two meditations, like one in the morning where like, okay, my mind is so fresh right now. I have to set my day. Like I'm going out to the world, so I want to set my day before I pick up a phone, before I do anything. I need to sit with myself and check in with myself, right?
Right.
So when I check in with myself, I sit still like for 45 minutes, and then I set my intentions for the day, you know? And then
Mm-hmm.
I know intentionally I'm going out, out in the day without becoming the one with the day somehow. Like I don't want to become like the heavy hat that I put on today. So now my
Right.
intention is today, like, I'm gonna go through with the day with ease, with joyful. I'm gonna recognize every little butterfly. I'm gonna recognize everything. Like I wanna experience the joyful. Like even if it's a job or something like that, it has to bring that joy out of me. If it's so rigid, I can't be in it. I had to remove myself immediately. So I
Mm-hmm.
set the intentions of the day, and then when the day is over, because of like we expect anything can happen. It could be a rough day, it could be a smooth day, whatever it is. But I make sure I kind of like I take a shower meditation, which is like I'm cleansing. I take another 45 minutes of meditation where I'm cleansing everything again, right? But it's like, but let's say like, okay, I've experienced whatever, but I'm like intentionally just saying like whatever it was, good, bad, whatever, we're just cleansing. And now we are like fresh again. Like whatever hat I wear today, that's off. So I never sleep with the same thought that I had today. Like it can be
Mm.
like a thought that's bothering me, but there's no
Right.
way I lay my head and it's like that thing is like like
That's
in
awesome.
my mind. I can't do
Yeah,
it. It's
yeah.
like, okay, if that it happened to me one time. It was like during a relationship thing, and I'm like, oh my god, this is how people feel like when they say like I couldn't sleep because of the thought. This.
Ah!
I'm like, I'm like, no. But I've learned that I wouldn't sleep with whatever thought of the day when I was a little kid, because I
Mm-hmm.
always used to have like a day that I used to be so angry at an adult, where you can't even hit somebody back and somebody's like beating you up all the time. Like you kind of develop that anger. But then I
Mm.
realized like every night I don't want to cry because you don't even deserve my tears. So in a way, like I mean, like sitting with yourself and realize even that part, like when I was a kid, when I used to get beaten up, when I used to jump from home to home, all of that kind of stuff, all of that came together during those 444. And then
Interesting,
when
yeah.
that came back and I sat with it, that like literally from the start, from the beginning, then things just made sense to me. I'm not the victim anymore. It's like this is my experience, the reason why I experienced it, the way it molded me, the way it made me, the who I
Yeah.
am, all of that. It just came into one. And I'm like, damn, this is what I needed to experience in order for to be the person that I am today. Right. So
Mm-hmm.
then like look at your day, look at your life, and you have to come in acceptance with who you are in total. Like whoever you are from your past now, whatever, like
Yeah.
anything that bothered you, whatever you are, you have to come in like one with it.
Integrate it all, yeah.
Exactly. That's the
Right,
only way
right.
you will be detached
That
from
makes
everything.
perfect sense. Yeah. It's interesting that you use those words too and bringing it all back together because, in a way, that's kind of like coming back to source, right? Coming back
Mhm.
to oneness, coming back to wholeness is bringing all those experiences and bringing it all
Together.
here together. Yeah. So it's funny, you said meditation. It's like meditation is medication.
I used to say that my medicine was medication. No, my medication was meditation
Yeah.
for my addictions, for my detachment, and all, for my attachment and
Everything.
everything.
Yeah.
That was meditation was my medications. I wrote actually a blog called "Meditation Was My Medication."
Look at that.
Yeah, it was literally was that because I cried so many days. I cried so many times. And what helped me to tap into those different layers and those different parts of myself was more what I was working with the chakras. I was
Mm.
intentionally working with the chakras. So let's say like since it's like over a year of meditations, right? um I needed to spice it up and then also be very intentional with what I'm doing, right? So I start the first week with the root chakra, for example, and I will focus on the root chakra. Most of the time root chakra will always bring up the childhood traumas, the
Yeah.
childhood joyful
That
moments,
makes
the
sense.
people
Yeah.
that I knew,
The
things like that.
roots.
Yeah, and I sit in it. The longer I sit in it, I have a whole week to just work with the root chakra. While I'm working with the root chakra, I would have like some kind of like red colors or whatever that's
Mm,
associated. The fruit that I eat would be the same colors. The clothes that I'm wearing would be the same colors as the root chakra. I used to always have like a little crystal with the root chakra symbol on it, and I would walk around with that one. When I'm doing the other chakras, I would have like another rock that is the same with their symbol, like the root chakra, sacral chakra, all of that.
mm-hmm,
So everything that I was working, when I was working with the sacral chakra, for example, there are like a lot of women that have all these sexual traumas, all of these things that are going on in
mm,
their life, right? So
mm,
everything will come back and spiral right back here. Every day it was just like up here, 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 right? So I knew I was working with the sexual energy. I knew I was working with, my childhood traumas. I knew I was working with, the balance when I came to the solar plexus. I knew there was some
mm.
balance between everything that I needed to
Right.
align. So it was always like I'm going back to the solar. I'm fixing the solar. So if the solar plexus wasn't like moving in the right way for me, and I can feel it in every time I'm working with the solar plexus, because
Mm-hmm.
of like it's like I haven't grasped some of the other ones, and it was like the motor for it. So if this one is working,
Mm.
now the chakras up here are working and the chakra down here are working. But if this motor was
Interesting.
like stuck, it felt
Yeah.
like my heart chakra, it was like a lot of doubt in it, like my throat
Right.
chakra, I couldn't speak whatever I wanted to say. And like I had some kind of like I am a shy person, but it would be like I would be extra shy. I would be like like I'm not more like expressive in a feminine way and all of that. So I could notice all of that. I'm like, I worked with the chakra, I worked with that, I worked with that, but which one am I stuck on? And it would always be the solar, right? Then I would do a fast. Like those times I used to do like 3.5 days, like every month or something like that. Three and a
Mm-hmm.
half days of just like dry fasting, and I'm doing my meditations and different practices and stuff. But all of that came together and made me into like, okay, accepting all of me, literally
Right.
being intentional with each journey that I took, right? So now, like when I felt like, okay, now it's floating. Like I'm okay with whatever childhood. I'm not the victim anymore. Matter of fact, like
Mm.
I really love my story.
Yeah.
Like it's not basic, but it's very interesting. It's not like easy. It's not for everybody, but
Not
I
basic.
mean, it's my story, and it really made me. I wouldn't be who I am if
Right.
my story wasn't the way it was.
And
But
it's
before that,
interesting. I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, no, no. I was saying before that I was just a victim.
Right. It's so interesting. I find that for people that have like kind of fully integrated and like made amends, and accepted like everything in their life, in the past and everything, like they all seem to be grateful for their experiences, right?
Nobody want to
Like
change
they
it. When I
always
hear
say,
someone say
"I
I don't want to
wouldn't,
change it, I know.
wouldn't change. I wouldn't have it any other way." And it's very interesting because, I realize too in my life sometimes I catch myself thinking that I may have been irresponsible for certain things and certain routes that I took, just because it's not like what society deemed to be responsible. And there's always better ways we could do things, right? And so that's always a thing. But the more that I think about it, it's like if I hadn't done it in that way, I don't think I would, yeah, be the person I am today and be able to tap into the levels of presence and joy that I would not give up for anything else. Like, even if I was like a millionaire or billionaire or something like that, I wouldn't give up like this feeling that I have now that I've tapped into for that. Like, it doesn't
Exactly.
even feel like it's not even comparable. Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, to have all that stuff materially, but then not have any depth, it would
Clarity.
feel so empty. It just feel empty. And so, like, which is how, because you and I know, like, we get to, like, we meet a lot of these people, right, that make a
Mm-hmm.
lot of money and they come and they ask us things, and a lot of them, they're not very happy.
No.
And they don't feel fulfilled and they feel empty, and then they don't even have real relationships. Like, they don't even know what real friendship is
They
because
obligated.
everyone's, yeah. So yeah, I mean, I also wouldn't give it up for anything else.
So you
And
told me the other day they don't even have friends or real connections. Like it's more like, okay,
no.
I have a business, I have this, I have to do
Right,
this.
because everything is transactional and everything is for a certain intention. And so even the family gatherings, it's like the
Mm,
uncle's talking to the nephew or someone else in the family because they have some sort of ulterior motive of eventually when you grow up, I know you're going to be the owner of this company and I want to do business with you in this way. So I'm trying to be your favorite uncle now. And like all these things that they have in their minds, these agendas, so everything is like an act, and everyone has to put on a mask or a armor every single day as soon as they leave their room and play whatever act they're trying to play to create the best play in their
exactly.
life. But there's one
Exactly.
thing, and I think it's two very different things when you realize that life is a play and you decide to just play it to your best
Exactly.
ability and just
Yeah.
fully express yourself in it. And then there's a difference when
Exactly.
you're just trying to
Act in it.
create a certain scene, and create a certain and create certain schemes and stuff,
Yeah.
and that one requires a lot of strain and stress,
I'm not
and
qualified for that one.
yeah, it's it's
I'm
it's
literally not
it
qualified.
feels empty in the end because you're not being authentic to yourself, and so you're not playing the play how you really want to play it. You're playing the play that you think uh will
Supposed to.
yeah, it's supposed to how it's supposed to look or how it should look according to society, according to your mom, your dad, to your friends, to whoever you want to impress, but not to what your real spirit, like how it wants to move and animate through the world, and that's the
That's so
most fulfilling
interesting.
of them all.
That is
Yeah.
so interesting. Imagine doing everything for something else and you're not even aligned with it. Like the motivation you have for that. Like I don't even have motivation for the things that I want to do. Nobody else is telling me to do.
Uh, it
Like,
reminds me of the Avatar, right? The Last Airbender with Zuko, and how he found all his purpose in catching the Avatar and restoring honor from his father and all these things. And and then when he turned into the good side, he had to learn how to create fire from a different sort of purpose. But
mm,
it's funny, yeah, these things can fuel you, and sometimes people, a lot of these millionaires and billionaires became that after a big breakup.
mm,
They were betrayed in some way, and they went through so much hurt that they vowed to never again, be like the little guy in the room.
mm.
Sometimes somebody got beat up so bad that he vowed to be the biggest person in the gym, and they become these huge bodybuilders.
Yeah.
Out of those things, and it could be a beautiful thing, if it's something that feeds you. But I think when it comes from the ego like that, and trying to fulfill something, some kind of void, uh, it's just those things only provide temporary relief, right?
Hmm,
And then it feels like it's never enough. You're never big enough. You never enough. You made enough money, because all of these things, you're just really trying to fulfill some void in your spirit, I think.
yeah.
And so,
You know what that reminded me of? Go ahead and finish. And it reminded me of
no,
something
no, no,
I
I
did.
was done. I was done.
Yeah.
Go, go.
I had this coworker yesterday that
Uh
I was
huh.
working with, right? And at one point, like she said something like she said something like, "Hey, Nabiha, when you are in your 50s," and I was like, "Okay, where did that came from?" She's like, "You're gonna have like midlife crisis. That's when you have the midlife crisis. That's what I'm going through now." And then in my mind, I'm like, "What do you mean by that?" She's like, "Midlife crisis is like what the time you want to do everything and all the time and whatever." I'm like, "I'm in my life crisis every day." I'm in my lip, like I'm in like crisis every day. Like I want to do everything I want to do. I do like whenever I want to do. And
Uh huh.
what's the difference? Do you really think we would get that if we find like joy in every moment? We really think like a 50-year-old, like, oh my God, I need to do this, I need to do that. Because you
Yeah.
missed out on so much because you've been acting,
Right.
acting, 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 what your
Mm.
mother wanted to be, what your father
Yeah.
wanted you to
Yeah.
be, what society wanted you to be, what your neighbors are gonna think, what your dog's gonna think, whatever it is, like all of that. Imagine if you didn't have any of that and you were just actually living free and joyful, detached from
Mm-hmm.
things, then at 50 you don't have to like explode and think like, oh my god, I'm like halfway 100, I need to do something. No,
Right.
you don't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because it's like even if you aren't in the space you quote unquote would have liked to be in or saw yourself in, you could never regret having lived your life to the fullest, you know?
exactly.
Like it's just something that you could just never regret. Like you really
Mm.
squeezed the most out of life. So however it turned out, you know? And I think when you live in that mode, when your default state becomes living in the present moment, you naturally get a higher level of detachment, you know, because you
Hmm.
learn to flow with the moment instead of resisting it or going against it. Even if it's
Exactly.
negative, you just know that going against the current isn't going to be beneficial, you know? So it's like you could still, obviously, we all get upset and we still, you know, there's events that happen like today, you know, I had car problems and stuff, and it wasn't like, it wasn't like the funnest experience of a day at all, you know, a lot of annoyances and stuff. It's like you still don't like wallow in there for long. Your
Mm.
recovery time gets faster. You know, you just don't what's the word? You don't let that take over your entire experience and let
Yeah.
it color the rest of your day, the rest of your week, the rest of your life. You know, some people let one small moment in a party make the whole party bad, you know?
Yeah, like
'Cause
this brother here, ascension affirmation. He was talking about, I've seen a lot of messages when he was talking about food
uh-huh.
being labeled with the bad ingredients. We need to boycott all these pharmaceutical things, this, that. I
Oh
really,
yeah.
truly, yeah, that's what he was writing and stuff. But then at the same time, like we were
Mhm.
talking about earlier, remember, like you don't, you don't fight fire with fire, you know? You
Right.
really don't fight fire with fire, but the more aware you become of what is actually out there, you know, instead of us like going against it and saying like, oh, this is bad, this is this is that, right? Like act in a way where you are doing what you think is right instead of
Right.
like going out there and then pointing fingers, because like we said, there is no right and wrong at the end of the day, right? So today I can say like this is right, but tomorrow it can be wrong, right? So it's like instead of like pointing fingers and saying like the food industry is bad, the food industry is doing this, oh, these labels or this is all of that is this and that. What if we are more aware of what it is? Maybe like less of us will buy it. You know, when you're aware, you don't buy it, right? And then you are the example instead of like just barking and
Right.
saying, oh, this is what it is. Now we become the example. People
Exactly.
follow actions. They don't follow words. They
Yeah.
follow actions. I would follow like some kind of actions that I see too. Like, but if people will just coming to me and saying like, "Oh, this is where this is wrong," and then you see the majority of the matrix, they moving fine to me. You know, as long as you detach from something, some of them are not that bad, you know? So as long as they're unaware of it somehow, but then when they see you move the way you're moving, then it's easier to see like, okay, that's what do you do? Are you fasting? Why? Okay, this is why I'll fast.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't eat this fruits and this like that. Oh, this is why I don't eat them. Like at work every day they ask me like, oh, you want this apple? I'm like, apples I actually take it, but they would be like, oh, you want this watermelon, for example? Like, oh, I'm sure I'm good. They're like, it's watermelon. I thought I could offer you something. But then I can go, like, I don't go straight, like, oh, that's genetic in my farm. I don't want that. They be like, you know, like, I make it into a
Mm-hmm.
bad thing. It's like I can go, like, you know what? For somehow I taught my body how to consume watermelon when it's season. You
Mm-hmm.
know, that's the only time I will consume watermelon because of that's when I feel like my body is more aligned with watermelon. So only when it's in season, that's what I consume watermelon. Which
Mm-hmm.
will also create like that conversation, like, oh, but why? Like they're always in the store, and then I would explain, yeah, but you know the ones that grows that had the black seed, you know, they're not
Mm-hmm.
like kind of like modified to grow faster, but they're like grown,
Mm-hmm.
you know, naturally. So it
Right.
takes
Grown
longer, so I have to
locally.
wait longer. Now I'm explaining, right, without like attacking the idea
Right. Right. Yeah.
of this watermelon is just genetically modified with that. Like that's like lack of knowledge. Now you think you
Right.
find something right, and now you think you can point fingers because you you're
Mm.
right. It doesn't make sense, right? So I like to explain it in that route, like, okay, hey, this is like beneficial to me.
Same.
This is what
Same.
I do. Yeah.
Same. And
right?
that's the same thing with veganism too, that I find a lot of times that when vegans like just point fingers and try to like, badmouth everybody else, they kind of put a bad taste. They're trying to help the animals, but they're actually putting a bad taste in everyone's mouth about it, which
Yeah.
is pushing them further away from even considering being vegan. Whereas like if you just kind of like show the example.
Somebody's calling you because I got you. You kind of got off.
Oh, I'm in low power mode. It looks like my battery's low. But yeah, I guess we
Mm.
could wrap it up. I guess we could
Yeah.
wrap it up now. We've probably been
Yeah.
talking for a while.
I
But yeah,
know.
just to kind of recap, a lot of these topics that we talked about, we've kind of just experienced in our own journey, however we did, and a lot of it a big proponent engine supplement, if you will, for a catalyst. A lot of especially for me, and I know it was for you too, is the fasting. The fasting really helped in unplugging us from programs. Like when I did that 90-day juice fast, that's when I stopped drinking alcohol. That's when I like came out of my bubble. I used to be very shy. I became a social butterfly after that. Started dancing freely. Like I didn't need like the liquid courage, as I would call the alcohol. It gave me like
Mm-hmm.
the courage to be able to be myself. I didn't need it anymore. And it just reprogrammed so many things. And so that's why, we do these retreats, like because we want to share what helped us and then bring everybody together to support one another. Because when we do these things in community, oh my God, it's so much easier. It's funner. It's like, supportive, and it's healing to the mind, body, and the spirit. And so we are doing the next fasting prana Great Reset retreat in
Ooh, I'm looking
July
forward to it.
17th through the 20th. We're going to be camping out in nature, flying in Elitam Elamine, Breatharian from Africa. We're just going to have a freaking awesome time. Fires every night with medicine, music, sound healing, yoga, qigong, meditation, breath work. I mean, and more, and
Oh,
much, much more.
dang.
So stay tuned. DM any one of us for more information, and just, follow us, keep up to date. We're going to be posting a lot more stuff in the next coming days and weeks. And so it's going to be in Florida, South Florida, and we're going to have a blast. So,
No, you have like half of your face with light and half not. It's so funny. Ah, I was like, what is that? But yeah, this is gonna be awesome. Yeah, we talked a lot too now. But yeah, we should promote the retreat soon. There's a lot of people
yeah.
that are already requesting, so I know a lot of people
I
are already
know.
coming.
A lot of people want to come from the last one too, and I mean, we depending on the space that we get, there may be limited spots, So, if you are wanting to come, I'd say get your spot sooner rather than later, because we
Mhm.
may not be able to fit in as many people as last time, and we may
A
really
lot is
prefer to
smaller
keep
now,
it more
right?
intimate. Yeah, if we do it in a, we're still choosing the land. So one of the land spots that we're looking at is even more beautiful than the last one. Like way
Really?
more beautiful, way more infrastructure. Yeah, Aloha, you seen it.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah,
that
yeah.
that one's that one's just freaking magical. But it is smaller,
Mhm.
so we will be more limited as to how many people we bring. But it's going to be a far more magical
Mhm.
experience, I think. So we're still
Definitely.
looking at a couple different options, but yeah, just y'all just stay tuned
Yep.
and
June
come on
17th to the
through.
20th. No, July.
July, yeah.
Ah, June. I started to rush.
There you go.
July
It's
17th
getting
to
late.
the 20th. The sun went down here while we were talking. So I
Yeah,
got to experience the sunset from here.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't
The
get
sun been down here, as you can tell.
Oh yeah, yours been down
I'm
for a
back.
little
I'm back in the void.
while. But
Speaking
yeah,
to you from the void. Yeah, that was an
ascension
awesome talk.
affirmations. Thank you for being here. It's been here a minute,
Yeah,
brother. Thank
appreciate your
you for being
presence,
here.
brother. Well,
Yeah.
Nabiha, much love.
Bye
Big hug.
bye.
Bye bye.
All right, much love.
Bye.